Ever stood in a bustling room, hearing the hum of voices and laughter, yet felt completely disconnected from the conversation? What if you could finally tear down that wall and blend into any English-speaking circle with ease? Today, we reveal why listening is your ultimate secret superpower to becoming fluent. Think of a toddler. They never touch a grammar book. Instead, they absorb the world through the voices of those around them until it becomes second nature. By embracing this natural path, you allow the melody and rhythm of English to take root in your subconscious without the stress of memorization. In this guide, we will explore 10 essential pillars to mastery, including the powerful technique to perfect your speech. If you want to transform your communication and gain unstoppable confidence, hit that subscribe button to join our community and improve your English daily. Let us begin building your unshakable foundation through the art of hearing. Beyond the basic mechanics of hearing, listening serves as your ultimate real-world teacher. While textbooks often present a sterile, frozen version of speech, reality is a vibrant symphony of sounds. Every interaction possesses its own dynamic pulse and unique inflection. If you only rely on formal guides, you might learn to say, "I am very exhausted from my long day." But in a casual setting, a native speaker will likely exclaim, "I'm totally wiped out." These authentic nuances are what truly breathe life into your communication and make you sound like a local. It is about capturing the natural cadence of how people actually interact. Notice how words often seamlessly blend together in a fast-paced environment. For instance, instead of the formal, "What are you doing?" you might hear a rhythmic, "What you doing?" This isn't a mistake, it is the organic flow of the language. By immersing yourself in genuine dialogues, you move past the stiff structures of a classroom and begin to grasp the living spirit of English. This exposure helps you decode not just the literal definition, but the vivid emotion behind every sentence. This is how you stop being a mere student and transform into a sophisticated communicator. Make sure to subscribe to keep refining your ear for these subtle details. Do you ever feel that sudden flash of anxiety when an English speaker opens their mouth and it sounds like a blurred wall of noise? It's deeply frustrating, isn't it? You might even feel stupid or like giving up because you can't catch every single syllable. But here is the surprising truth. Not understanding everything is actually your greatest advantage. This gap in knowledge forces your brain to work overtime, searching for meaningful patterns and situational context, rather than just robotic definitions. Instead of trying to be a human dictionary, focus on the core message. Imagine you are watching a scene where someone mentions suitcase, passport, and delayed. Even if the rest is a mystery, you immediately grasp the general concept of travel trouble. Your mind is incredibly adaptable. It will naturally bridge those gaps if you let it. Another vital strategy is the power of iterative listening. The first time you hear a clip, just aim for the overall flavor. By the third or fourth round, your ears will magically start capturing those subtle sounds and hidden details that felt invisible before. Are you tired of feeling stuck just because you miss a few words? Comment, "No more translating" below if you're ready to stop feeling frustrated and start trusting your brain's natural power. Let's conquer this journey together. Now that we have explored the secret superpower of the ear, I want to dive deeper into how this process acts as a natural catalyst for your linguistic development. Many of us treat language like a heavy chore, but when we prioritize listening, we experience vocabulary growth through real-life scenarios. Instead of staring at dry, boring lists, imagine hearing a traveler describe a mountain view as breathtaking. Because you can hear the pure excitement in their voice and perceive the emotional context, your brain locks that word into your long-term memory. You aren't just memorizing definitions, you are absorbing living meaning. Furthermore, we can truly achieve grammar without studying. I have often noticed that when we repeatedly hear phrases like, "I should have called you," our minds start using that advanced structure instinctively during a conversation. You don't need to struggle with complex rules on a whiteboard when your subconscious already recognizes the melodic pattern of the sentence. This naturally leads us to better pronunciation. As we know, English is famous for its deceptive spelling. You might see a word like island and feel tempted to pronounce every letter. But listening reveals the actual phonetic sound. It is the only way to bridge the gap between static text and spoken reality. Finally, all these steps culminate in building confidence. There is no better feeling for us than that instant click of understanding a fast-moving dialogue. I believe these small victories are the essential fuel for your journey. When you feel that internal surge of success, you become unstoppable. Let us continue this path of active discovery together. To truly transform your skills, we must focus on how to make listening a daily habit without it feeling like a heavy burden. I always tell my students that you don't need to sit at a desk with a stiff textbook to make progress. Instead, let's weave English into the very fabric of your existing routine. For example, while you are commuting on a busy train, or perhaps spending time on your home garden, you can have a fascinating tech review or a travel vlog playing in your ears. This way, your learning becomes practical and effortless. We should always start with what you love. If you're passionate about digital photography, find a tutorial in English. If you enjoy personal finance, listen to a global economic podcast. When we connect the language to our deep passions, it stops being a chore and becomes a thrilling hobby. To accelerate your growth, I highly recommend the shadowing technique. Whenever a speaker says something that catches your ear, maybe a clever joke or a sharp observation, pause the clip and mimic their exact intonation and rhythmic flow. This builds incredible muscle memory for your speech. By committing to these consistent actions, we aren't just studying. We are building a powerful momentum toward your fluency. You have the ability to make English a natural reality in your life. Now, let's move toward a major milestone in your journey. Challenging yourself with different accents. English is a vast, global tapestry, and being fluent means navigating its many voices with ease. You might notice how a Londoner pronounces tomato with a deep ah sound, while a New Yorker uses a sharp A. Or consider the word schedule. One person might start with a shesh sound, and another with a ske. These aren't errors. They are the vibrant colors of our language. When you expose your ears to a Scottish, Irish, or Canadian accent, you are giving your brain a powerful mental workout. Just like a traveler who learns to read different maps, you are training your auditory flexibility. I believe that by listening to this global variety, we stop being restricted to a single correct sound and start understanding the human connection behind the words. Whether you are at a business conference in Singapore or a local cafe in Sydney, your ability to stay adaptable is what makes you a sophisticated speaker. We are building your confidence so that no matter who speaks, you are ready to listen and engage. This is how we achieve true fluency together. Beyond just sounds, every regional accent acts as a gateway to a treasure trove of specialized vocabulary and distinctive phrases. I've seen so many students master complex grammar only to feel completely lost and invisible when they step off a plane in a new city. It's a painful reality. You might know the correct word from a book, but you don't yet know the local spirit. For instance, if you are navigating the streets of the United States, a friend might invite you over for some tasty appetizers before a meal. However, if you travel to the United Kingdom, that same host would call them starters. In the sun-drenched land of Australia, you might even hear someone refer to a barbie when they are inviting you to a backyard grill party. These aren't just different labels. They are profound cultural insights. By actively listening to these variations, we begin to grasp the social manners and underlying emotions of different societies. You learn that Americans often value bold directness, whereas British speakers might lean towards a subtle wit or a more reserved tone. This deep connection is what allows us to move from being a mere visitor to being a welcome guest. We aren't just learning a linguistic code, we are absorbing the history and humor of the people we speak with. Does it make you feel left out or awkward when you can't join in on local jokes because the slang is too confusing? Comment, I want to belong if you're tired of feeling like a tourist in your own second language. Let's master these hidden gems together and build your unshakable confidence. One of the biggest hurdles we face is that frustrating lag in our brains when we try to turn our native thoughts into English. It makes speaking feel slow and heavy, doesn't it? But here's the breakthrough. Consistent listening is your primary tool for thinking in English. When you immerse yourself in the language, you are training your mind to bypass the mental translation phase entirely. I've noticed that through regular exposure, your brain starts to recognize instant patterns. For example, instead of hearing each individual word in the phrase, "Can you give me a hand?" and wondering why someone wants your physical hand, you immediately grasp the natural meaning of asking for help. You don't pause to translate because the auditory reflex is already there. This leads us to faster understanding and speed. Imagine you are at a busy grocery store and the clerk asks, "Would you like a receipt?" Because of your listening practice, you don't need to decode the grammar. You simply respond with a spontaneous yes or no. We are teaching our minds to process information at the speed of life. Furthermore, you begin to catch the emotional tone. If a friend exclaims, "No way," with a rising pitch, you instantly sense their pure disbelief without needing a dictionary. By listening, we are shifting from studying English to truly inhabiting it together. Have you ever considered that the most magnetic people in a room aren't always the loudest talkers, but the ones who truly make you feel heard? I believe that when we shift our focus from simply waiting for our turn to speak to active engagement, we unlock a new level of social mastery. By being a thoughtful listener, you aren't just processing data, you are building a genuine connection. For instance, if a friend mentions, "I finally managed to stick to my workout routine for a whole month," don't just nod and move on. You could respond with, "That's impressive. Did you feel a big difference in your overall energy?" This kind of empathetic response makes people feel deeply valued and draws them closer to us. Furthermore, this high level of attention allows us to capture the subtle phonetics that many others overlook. While someone just reading a book might miss the tiny distinction between the sounds in bat and bet, your trained ear identifies that vocal nuance instantly. You begin to naturally mirror the rhythmic stress on important words and the melodic rise of a curious question. I am convinced that when we listen with this much intention, our English becomes warm and human. We stop being just learners and become insightful partners in every discussion. Let us embrace this compassionate path together to improve our interpersonal skills. Let's be real, the road to fluency isn't always a smooth highway. It's more like a mountain trail that tests your grit. To conquer it, we must constantly diversify our input. I personally suggest exploring science podcasts for specialized jargon, or even animated short films to see how visual cues pair with spoken words. This variety prevents mental burnout and keeps your journey exciting. Remember, consistency is your greatest ally. Even if you only have a few minutes while waiting for coffee, that short burst of focused attention adds a new brick to your solid foundation. When a dialogue feels too fast, and you feel that familiar sting of insecurity, don't retreat. That mental resilience you are building is the exact quality that separates the fluent from the frustrated. Listening is truly the silent architect that connects your vocabulary, grammar, and confidence into one unified force. Are you tired of feeling like a permanent outsider in English conversations? Don't let another year pass by just getting the gist. Click that subscribe button today and join us as we transform your English from a struggle into your strongest asset. Your journey to total mastery starts with a single play button.